Hi guys, welcome to day 8. So today we're going to be factoring expression with fractional exponents. This is very quite important when you see that arise in calculus, and a lot of students have problem factoring expressions with fractional exponents. So we're going to do that today. So see, hopefully it makes sense. So we're going to be factoring. So you have x3/2 minus x to the 1/2 plus x to the negative 1/2. Okay, so how do I do this? So just the title. So what we're supposed to be doing, we're just factoring the expression. So factoring out GCF here. What is the GCF? It's x to the negative 1/2. And this is going to be x squared minus x plus 1. Now, how did I do that? So I'm going to do that, explain myself even more. So just think about this as, also I can bring the negative to the bottom, but we're just going to keep it here for now. Just think about it this way. I need to multiply something, right, times something, let's just call it box. It's going to equal x to the 3/2, right? So how do you solve for the box? We divide by x to the negative 1/2 to get the box by itself. So x to the 3/2, x to the negative 1/2, right? So what is the box? This is really x to the 3/2 minus 1/2, right? So this is x squared. So the box is x squared. So if I multiply x squared here, I'm going to get the original one. As you notice, for each of these, if I multiply this times this, I get that, this times this, I get that, this times this, I get that. That's the idea. So let's do the next one. I have what? X to the negative 1/2. Then what? What should I do? So the box, we don't know the box. Pretend we don't know it. Okay, we already have it there, but we're going to try to get the negative x to the 1/2. Okay? So what is the box going to be? I know it's x. But let's see, we don't. We got the box. You have negative x to the 1/2, and then divide by x to the negative 1/2 to solve for the box, right? So the box is equal to what? Negative x. The negative outside, the negative doesn't do anything. It's just the outside. It's 1/2 minus 1/2, right? So this is negative. This is negative times a negative. It's what? Positive, right? So negative and negative becomes positive, so this is to the 1 power. So it's just x. You see that? So the box is x. So this is really x. If I multiply this times this, I get that. Right? That's the goal. And the 1 is pretty obvious, right? Factor out that, I just got the 1 by itself. That's it. So make sure you understand this. You can use the box method if you want. I'm probably going to have to skip this step due to time. And it's, I don't want to say it's obvious, but it's just the way to say, the way to think about it, right? All right. So let's do the next problem. B. X to the 3/2 minus 9x to the 1/2 plus 6 to the 1/2. As you can see, you can use the box, but I'm going to skip that step. So here the GCF is 3, and then I find the least common GCF of the exponent is just the smaller one, which is negative 1/2, right? Okay, there's also another way to think about it, is the factoring out the GCF. This is really just x3/2 minus negative 1/2, right? Then this would be 3, right? X to the 1/2 minus negative 1/2, right? It's very similar to the box, plus 2 x to the negative 1/2 minus negative 1/2, right? So step by step. Here, let me just do the 3. I'm going to bring the x to the negative 1/2. And here, if this becomes positive, this is x squared minus what? This will become 1, right? And this one become 2x to the 0. Yes? And I can bring the exponent that's negative, I can bring it to the bottom, right? And this one actually factors too. So no. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip that step, we're running out of room. This one's x to the 0 is 1, right? So this one factors, so this is x minus 2, x minus 1, and the x to the negative 1 is just the bottom, x to the 1/2. That's it. Alright. Just another way to do it, to think about it. It's just basically using the box, but not showing the entire work. Hopefully that makes sense. So that the box makes sense. Use the box. If this makes sense to you, then use this, similar to the box. But from now, I'm pretty much gonna blow past that. What? Okay. So now we have C. 2 plus x to the negative 2/3 times x. 2 plus x, I forgot the plus sign, plus x to the 1/3. So what's the GCF? What's the smaller? GCF is basically the smaller. 2 and 4, what's the GCF? 2, right? Because that's the smaller one. In this case, the negative is smaller than the positive one, so this is the GCF. So I take out the GCF, which is that. And if I do, there's just one left, obviously, times x, so it's just x. This one, if I take out, I'm just gonna show you. 1/3 minus negative 2/3, right? So just a step. So this right here, I can bring it to the bottom. This will become positive to the first power. So really it's just that. Yeah. This one can go on the bottom, 2 plus x to the 2/3. Anything negative goes to the bottom. Now I just combine like terms. And I can factor out a 2. 2, this will be x plus 1, 2 plus x to the 2/3. Okay, that is it. Okay. All right. So let's do some more problems. D. 1 plus x squared to the 1/2 minus x squared 1 plus x squared negative 1/2. So key is just to factor out the GCF. Most of them, it's pretty, once you get used to it, it's not too hard. So the GCF is going to be 1 plus x squared to the negative 1/2. So here I'm going to add 1 to this, so it's 1 plus 1/2. So this 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. So I just have this left. This, I took out the 1 plus x squared to the negative 1/2, so you just have x squared left. Right? So you notice here and here will cancel, so you just have 1 left. And that's it, huh? 1 on the top. Now here I can bring this to the bottom, so it's 1 plus x squared to the negative 1/2, which is 1/2. Sometimes you'll see square root, but it's the same thing. And I didn't write the question correctly. Right, caramba. So we're just gonna have to write this as D, I guess. So let's now write D. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. And sometimes they write this also. So you can write it this way, depending on the book. Same thing. So this is D, and it wasn't. This is not the right question, but pretend it's D. So we just have to make pretend that's E. Then we just make E then. All right. See if you guys can do this. This was supposed to be D, but I copied the wrong question. But now let's make this E. E. All right. So same thing, right? 1 plus x squared negative 1/2. Pause the video. See if you can get the answer. 1 plus x squared minus x squared, and this is 1 plus x squared. It's practically the same thing, except this one, it has a 1 plus x squared in the bottom. This will just be 1. And then if I bring it to the bottom, this is to the first power, right? This is really to the first power. And then this is minus 1/2, right? So I want to show that step. This is 1 plus x squared to the 3/2. That's it. Okay. All right. Let's do. All right. Let's do F. F. No. 2 to the x plus 6 to the 4. I gotta think. Minus 4. Make sure to write the bottom this time. 6 plus 6 to the 8. Okay. Okay, so how do you do this? So basically I factor out the GCF. What they have in common, they both, the numbers, they have a 2, x and x squared is x plus 6, the cube is the GCF. So what's left? The 2x is gone, but I still have an x plus 6 left. 1x plus 6. Now here I took out 2, 4, so the 2's left, and then I took 1x out, so it just be plus 2x. Not plus 2x, minus 2x. I took out x plus 6 cube already. You have x plus 6 to the 8. Okay? Alright, now what to do? Oh, look at this. I can simplify this one and this one. This one is just negative x plus 6. You can't really do much other than take out the negative. But this one will become what? What do you guys think? It becomes 5, right? Yeah, there you go. That's it. You can. Pretty much that's it. Okay, so let's do another one. Let's do G. If you feel like it's moving too fast, just pause the video. I'll have to go back if you need to. 1 minus x squared to the 1/2. Plus x squared 1 minus x squared to the 1 negative 1/2 all over 1 minus x squared. So what's the GCF? We gotta look at the top first. It's just 1 minus x squared to the negative 1/2. When I factor that one, I'm supposed to add 1/2 to this, so that makes it 1. And here, they just have, factoring this out, they just have x squared left, right? Is it the same problem? It looks the same. It looks very similar, right? So, the more practice, the better. This is just 1, right? And then bring this to the bottom. This would be 1 minus x squared to the 3/2. That's it. That's all you do. Okay. Now, time for some practice problem. Let's go. So same idea. We're simplifying fractional exponents, so we're just simplifying them. So practice problem. Let's go. Okay. Number 1. X to the negative 3/2 plus 2x to the negative 1/2 plus x to the 1/2. So try it out. See how much time I have. Wow. flying today, folks. Okay, I got 4 problems in 15 minutes. I can do it. Yeah. These are not easy problems, but we can do it. Okay. So what should I do? Try it out if you haven't. So this is like a pre-test. If you don't get the problem, go back to the video if you need to. So make sure you do that. So GCF, the smallest one, -3/2. This is just be 1 plus 2. What is this? I'm going to show the work here. Minus -3/2 plus x 1/2 minus 3/2 negative. Right? So it's x to the -3/2. 1 plus 2. This becomes x, right? This becomes x squared. Yes. As you notice, you can factor this. This is actually x plus 1 square. This one I can bring to the bottom, so it's 3/2. There you go. That's it. Voila. Okay. All right, done with that. All right. I need to Try it out. Try it out. Try it out. Okay. So what should I do? Factor out the GCF. So which one should I start? Doesn't really matter. But here x to the 1, 2 and 5, they don't have GCF other than 1. Right? So now we go with the x. The x to which one is smaller? X to the 1/3, right? What about this? X minus 2. So -1/3 and 2/3. X minus 2 to the -1/3. That's the GCF. And what's left? 2. Here I took out a -1/3, so I gotta add 1/3 to this. So this is x minus 2. -5. I took out 1/3, so I subtract 1/3 from that, so I get x only. Then I took this one already out. So you just have that now. Negative goes on the bottom, so we can simplify this one. This is 2x minus 4 minus 5x, and then this is x to the 1/3. Negative goes to the bottom, and then simplify even more. This is going to be -3x minus 4 x minus 2 to the 1/3. You can also factor out a negative. It might look nicer if you wish. This is also equal to this. It's not necessary. I don't know. It's not really necessary. But this is it. They're the same thing. They're equal to each other. Factor out a negative. This becomes a positive. Okay. All right. Okay. So, let's do number 3. Plus 3/2 x 7 minus 3x. Okay. So for the problems I do, I find some of them I find from the book, and I usually pick the even ones, and sometimes I could make a mistake. If I do, just let me know, comment below. But I do the even ones because so I can have you guys do the odd ones to practice, and you can check the back of the book for the answer. So That's it. So now we have 7 minus the GCF here. I did it the first time. I'm not sure why I did it wrong. I don't think it's copied it right. So now, what should I do? GCF. It's a little tricky, right? Yeah, this one's a little bit challenging. I could see that. So you can factor out a 7 minus 3 to the x to the negative 1/2. Did you notice? Negative 1/2. So if I do that, this will become just 7. I add 1/2 to this. This is 7 minus 3 to the x. Right? This one also, this just be 3/2, but I can actually factor out a 1/2. What? Yeah, I could. Now, if I do that, I gotta think about this as 2. So when I do times this, I'm gonna get just that by itself. So 7 minus 3/x. Then here, if I factor out a 1/2, I just have 3. And I took this out already, so there's just 3. Okay? No more. That's it, 3. Now, I know there's an x too, so we don't forget about the x, right? And you just have 7 minus 3x. And since I factor out a 1/2, I can bring the 2 on. I can bring the 2 on the bottom and this on the bottom, so this is really 2 times 7 minus 3x to the 3/2, right? This is going to be 1 plus 1/2, and then we just simplify this. That's 14 minus 6x, 14 minus 6x plus 3x, so you get 14 minus 3x. That's what I got. First time I did it wrong, I think. This one, I have the same answers now. Okay, last one. This one might be a challenge, so I'll really pause the video if you have to. Try it out. Spend as long as you need, 15 minutes if you need it. Feel to do so. This is a calculus problem, and the calculus is not the easiest. Actually, the hard part is the algebra. So I took the derivative of this already. So this is the derivative, and I don't need to take the function. So it's not a function, so it's a derivative, right? So it's just this. 2/3 t plus 1 to the negative 1/3 2t squared minus 1 cubed plus t plus 1 2/3 times 3 2t squared minus 1 times 4t. Oh yeah, look at that mess. Did you see that? I gotta rewrite it, it looks messy. Oh shoot. Okay, let's see my over here. 4 2/3 t plus 1 negative 1/3 2t squared minus 1 cubed plus t plus 1 2/3 times 3. Man, it's tired. 2t squared minus 1 squared times 4t. As you can see, this is times times times. Look at that. As you can see, this is h prime of t. I just erased it. H of t is taking the derivative is fairly easy, but the algebra is the hard part. So let's do it. So what should GCF? 2/3 and 3 times 4 times t. It's just obviously 2/3. Should we factor out 2/3? Yeah, we should. Makes sense. 2/3, right? How about t plus 1 to the negative 1/3? T plus 1 to the 2/3. Try it out. If you haven't tried it out, pause the video. So it's going to be t plus 1 to the negative 1/3. How about t squared minus 1? This is 2t squared minus 1 square, right? This is square right here. You guys can read my writing. All right. Now what's next? If I have room, I should have room because I'm gonna combine things now, right? So I factor out this one, what do I have left? I factor out 2/3 from here. Just think about this one. What do I have left? Right? I just have this. I just have 2t squared minus 1 left. How about here? I factor out negative 1/3. Oh yeah. T plus 1 to the negative 1/3. Right? So I'm adding 1/3 to this because I'm factoring out a negative. So this is t plus 1. But be careful. Then 3 times 4t is 12t. But remember, what did I do? I factor out 2/3. So 12 divided by 2/3 is what? 18. 18t times 18t. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Now we just basically combine like terms. The 3 goes from the bottom, t plus 1, 1/3. So this way combine, right? Probably couldn't combine these. This is really 12t, but remember I factor out 2/3, so that becomes 18t. Okay, so I combine this. This is 2t squared minus 1 and 18 plus 18t squared plus 18t. So now we just combine like terms. 20t squared plus 18t minus 1, 3t plus 1 to the 1/3. See if I get the same answer. 2t squared minus 1 squared, 20t squared plus 18t minus 1. Okay. So, yeah, so that's, I already checked this one, this is correct answer. So yeah, so you can see the algebra is the hard part. The calculus was actually easy. For this problem. So, okay, I said, where's the calculus? Yeah, I just kind of erased it. This is actually h prime of t. Don't worry about it, but like I mentioned, the calculus in this problem was easy. When you get to calculus, you haven't taken it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, page 32, 101 to 103. Page 42, 67 to 71. Odd. Okay. So, what book am I using? I'm using this, Precalculus, 5th edition. So, try it out. If you want more problems, practice. I got this at Amazon for $20. There you go. I includes day 8.